we have been looking into ways in which we can develop people. Formal ways to do that include onboarding, training, performance management, as well as career and succession planning. Many of these formal processes require the skills of coaching and mentoring. Yet we can also develop people informally through our coaching and mentoring skills. Truly, the success of both formal and informal developmental processes comes down to our ability to coach and mentor others. Coaching and mentoring are processes that build skill and ability into people. Developing people's skills and abilities actually builds into the organization's capacity to perform. Unfortunately, not all organizations understand this link between coaching or mentoring and organizational capacity. Some organizations may come off unsupportive of these processes because they just don't understand the importance of these skills yet. Today, it is important that we understand this connection and build our skills in these two areas. Then, hopefully, we can support our organizations in building these skills too. During this time together, let's focus on some key points in developing the skills of coaching and mentoring. It is important to understand the difference between these two terms. Coaching is helping someone to take the next step by unlocking their purpose, potential, or passion, and supporting them in developing the skills to get there. For example, a teacher may act as a formal coach when he or she supports a student in personally connecting with the material in a class and finding a way to practically apply it in their personal or professional life. A teacher may also coach a student by offering feedback on papers or presentations. Informally, we may have a friend who seeks us out because she feels stuck personally or professionally and is looking for someone to listen and help her think through her options to get unstuck. Coaching can also take place in one instance or over a series of interactions. Coaching can be informal or formal and can be initiated by the coach or the coachee. As a manager, if you find your employee underperforming, it will be necessary to initiate coaching the employee. But even as a peer, if your coworker is struggling, coaching may be a helpful resource. Coaching is a key skill to acquire because it is a way to help people get unstuck by offering relationship and resources. Here are some questions for personal and professional reflection. Feel free to pause the video if you need to. Who do you turn to for coaching when you need it? You may have different coaches for diverse needs, yet it is important to seek out and develop your network of coaches to support your learning and career development. Also, notice who turns to you for coaching or who might you consider coaching. Is there someone around you that you can support in advancing in their purpose, passion, or potential? Do you have a skill or ability to offer someone in your network? Or is there a relationship where you can even mutually coach one another? Please consider your next steps related to coaching. Now let's move on to mentoring. Mentoring usually comes about from the initiative of someone who seeks you out. This person believes you have a role or an ability that they admire, and they seek you out to share your experience or wisdom or ability or even your network. This relationship tends to be formal and regular to get to a certain point. For example, I pursued a relationship with someone I worked for in business because I admired the way he did his job and I wanted a job like the one he had. He became my formal mentor. He also had a strong network within the organization that positively impacted my next steps. Within a year of working for him, I was promoted, and even though he was no longer my supervisor, I continued to pursue informal mentoring from him to develop in my new role. As a supervisor, I've had employees who had their eyes on a different position within the organization, and so they pursued a formal mentoring role with me to help them get there. At other times, I've had leaders initiate a mentoring relationship to help them attain a skill or ability over the long term. These are some examples of different types of mentoring. Here are some questions to reflect upon related to mentoring. Again, feel free to pause the video if you need to. Do you have a mentor? Who has a role or an ability that you would like to attain to? Who has the network to help you get to where you'd like to go? Whose support can you reach out for in getting to the next phase in your career? I suggest you consider finding a mentor. Is there someone that you can support in getting to the next phase of their career? Is there someone that you might mentor? Next, let's discuss some key skills in coaching and mentoring in the talent management process. As we circle back to the earlier weeks of this course, foundational skills to developing others include our own self-awareness and inner security. This means we consistently pay attention to ourselves and others. We notice how we are thinking, feeling, and behaving, and the positive or negative impact we are having on people. While we notice our impact, we also let our principles guide us, so we do not focus too much on people-pleasing. At times, leaders have to be courageous and say and do things that are right, but not necessarily immediately embraced by others. This courageous behavior can set good change in motion, but initially it may not be popular because it is different and uncomfortable. So we prayerfully focus on some key attitudes as coaches and mentors, including embracing a learning mindset to receive, to then be able to give out consistently. We also work on asserting ourselves in being formal and informal talent developers. We continue to develop the inner confidence to both challenge and empathize with others. And we remain strong to engage with differences in others and find creative ways to invest in people. So we'd like to suggest some key skills to continue acquiring and practicing as we develop these important attitudes on our coaching and mentoring journey. First is to open ourselves up to listening so that we also open ourselves up to learning and the process of learning. Wisdom and being willing to see the bigger picture of circumstances beyond just what's happening to us in the moment. Increasing our resilience to adapt and to grow. Developing and utilizing creative problem solving. Emotional intelligence to be able to sense the impact on ourselves and on others so that we can maneuver the circumstances well as we coach and mentor. Also, courage is important as a leader and a coach and a mentor to take the risk and to adjust. And perseverance is vital so that we don't give up during the tough times, but stay with what is happening around us. Let's consider assessing ourselves on where we are at in these key coaching and mentoring attitudes and skills. In summary, coaching and mentoring skills are important to us whether we have formal or informal influence with people. I encourage all of us to work on these skills and attitudes consistently to enhance our career. Coaching and mentoring skills can also be helpful to cultural inclusion and equity within our organizations as well. As we close with our topic this week and move into the topic of ethics next week, let's consider 3 passages to guide our attitudes as coaches and mentors, as well as our ethical behaviors. Please consider reflecting upon what it means to have the fruit of the Spirit in Galatians 5:22-23. Also, consider studying what Jesus said in the Beatitudes in Matthew 5, verses 3-10. Also, potentially reflect upon deeply what it means to truly love people in 1 Corinthians 13. Please consider looking up one or two or all three of these passages as you investigate the key attitudes that lead to good coaching and mentoring, as well as ethical behavior in the talent management process. Our hope and prayer is that you are able to have a positive impact on others and on your organization through the work you are doing in this course. Thank you for your attention to these key topics.